Well, hi everybody and welcome back to Apple Cottage. This is Sandy. The sun's up, the dew's evaporated for the most part off of my plants. It's Friday morning and I am collecting herbs this morning. I had my shoes off, I was mopping my floor. Have company coming today. Though you have to mop your floor all the time anyway. And my oldest daughter and her husband are coming. It's a really busy family weekend this weekend. So I'm going to collect some herbs. First thing, lemon balm. And I'm going to just show you how I collect them and how I dry them so that I can use them throughout the year, either in teas or lotion, salves, anything I'm using them for. And I thought I'd just bring you along. So let's go find the lemon balm plant. So this is my lemon balm. And they're really interesting plants. And when you rub the leaves, oh, that scent is just fabulous. Well, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to clip off some damaged leaves that I might find. Well, some of it's they've just gotten old. Some of it maybe grasshopper damage, things like that. And I know a lot of people will just pick just a few leaves off, but next week we're going to have 3 days of nighttime temperatures that are at freezing or below. And that is just, that's cold. I mean, I'm going to cover up a lot of plants because right after that happens, the weather changes and it goes back up to nice temperatures, and we will be able to grow our vegetables longer. But that's a normal thing that happens in Wyoming. Now, I'm going to clip one of these and I want to show you. Lemon balm is in the mint family. All mints have square stems. You can feel it when you roll it in your fingers. And a lot of people will just pick just the leaves they want. But I find it better if I dry it on the stem. I mean, I'll cut off any damaged leaf. But I am going to just really keep it like this and let it dry. When we go inside, I'll show you the different ways that you can dry it. But because it's going to get cold, I'm really going to be pretty severe on cutting. Now, one of the ways to do it is to put them in brown paper bags. I like the really large ones, the ones that you would put if you were trimming branches or collecting grass. I like to throw them in there because there's just so much air circulation. And I like to put them in upside down so the top leaf is facing down on in the bag. So I'm just going to really severely trim this off. And I'm just going to put all those in there. And when you're collecting herbs, I always find it's best to do it in the morning. I wait till that fresh dew, that wetness is gone, just because it will help in the drying process. And see, I'm just really whacking this. And this will get covered up and it will actually grow more again. But any damaged leaf, I'm going to just try to just trim off. I love these new scissors I got from one of our boys. Thanks, Jordan. And they're for bonsais, but they are so sharp and they just work perfect. But see how fast that is to harvest all that? And lemon balm just makes a beautiful tea. And so we're going to just throw that in there. As you can see in that bag, they're just laying in there. And I'm going to seal up this big bag. I'm going to show you how big this bag is. It's just a lawn bag. And I'm going to seal it up. I'll put some staples in it. And I will put a label that says, this is lemon balm. I have 2 different types of rosemary. I picked some already from a different pot. And then this one too. And I'm clipping these. But because I'm not harvesting a lot, I'm actually just going to tie these, and I'll show you when we go inside about tying them. And so as you can see, they're a little bit different color. The darker one I find a little more powerful, the scent of it, but I like both of them. Let's collect some lavender also. So I'm going to just take those and just cut the whole stems. I love the scent of lavender. There's a whole bunch of carrots around here. I love the flowers. I love the scent. We only have one type of lavender that will come back. This is not one of them. And I love these beautiful flowers. But let's go over to one of my other lavender plants and you can see the difference. Can you see the difference? Let me try to get that in focus. One is more cylindrical, the one on the left, and then the one on the right, it bunches more. Both great flavors. But both of these do not overwinter here. I just plant them each year because I just love them. And as you can see, there's ones that are about to open. There's some that the flowers are spent. But I'm just going to trim this up a little bit. I am going to leave all these ones with the flowers that haven't opened yet. In this pot, I have a few different herbs, but one of them that I want to collect today, right here, is stinging nettles. Now, a lot of people do not like stinging nettles. They think they're a weed, and they do make your hands tingle. But they don't really make mine tingle too badly, and so maybe that's just my skin, I don't know. But I like saving these, and I can cook with them, and I dry them, and I use them in a lot of my concoctions. And these I harvested way earlier too. Take that seed head off. And I'm just going to have a small bundle, so I'm just going to dry these by hand. And I will show you how I do that when we go inside. But I do like to remove damaged leaves. So I just trim those off. Oop, I missed one over there. There's great stories about people rolling in the stinging nettles when they have arthritis to help with that, because stinging nettles does help with arthritis. And see how these bottom leaves, they're just old leaves. The grasshoppers usually don't do any damage to stinging nettles. Maybe they react to it too, I'm not sure. I think that's probably all of those. I'm gonna, oh, there's one more, that's a good one, that I'm just gonna take for today. Earlier, the stinging nettles came up before anything else, and they were just massive everywhere. So these small bundles are stinging nettles, lavender, and rosemary. So let's go inside and talk about how I dry these. I was about to go in and I thought, oh, I should pick some of the tarragon too. Now this is French tarragon. I also have grown Russian tarragon, but I find that the French tarragon has more intense flavor, and I've just really liked it. It has a licorice anise flavor to it, but it's so interesting, not just to add with baked goods, but on meats and in soups. It just has just the slightest taste change that you can pick up, and I just really like it. I already have some drying in a bag, but I'm going to pull that out today to show you, and I'll put this in that bag. Well, we brought all of the herbs inside, and what I like to do, if the bundle is too large, I'm going to divide it if I am putting strings around it. Now there are several ways that you can dry herbs. You can put them in the paper bag, which is my preference to do. You can tie a string onto them along the base and hang them upside down. You can dry them in a dehydrator if your dehydrator can go down to 95 degrees. If your dehydrator cannot do that, it is too hot. So just check on your dehydrator on which way it would work. So I'm just separating these out. And let's start with some lavender. So I just have some yarn. You can use any kind of string, anything you want. And I'm going to wrap that around a couple times. And I'm going to put a knot. And then I am going to just tie it like I would your tennis shoes, so I can easily take it off. And that way I can hang it very easily. Didn't tie that tight enough. And you can, whatever kind of knot you want is totally okay, because you can easily just cut it off. There we go. Seeing how I can hang that? You can see the little loop there. Oh, sorry. You can see the little loop there. And so I'm going to do that with each one. But you don't want to have too much mass down here where you're drying it. And in fact, that one's even kind of bulky. I might separate them like this. The reason why you don't want to do it, here in Wyoming, it'll probably never affect anything. But in other places where you have a lot of humidity, I want to show you a different way to do it too. If you just take your string, fold it in half, see this little loop right here? Just going to make like a slip. And you just send the string through, pull it tight. It's very easy. But if you live someplace where there's a lot of humidity, they can mold in that bunch. So you have to be careful. When I'm picking my pineapple weed, which is like false chamomile, use it just like chamomile. Those flowers are very thick. And so you have to be careful that they really dry. Now, an easy way to tell on a flower if it's all the way dry is by squeezing it. And if there's still a lot of cushion, a lot of give, those flowers aren't dry enough and you need to dry them longer. But see how easy it is to just hang them? Now the reason why I don't hang a lot of my herbs, though I'm going to hang these ones, is because here in Wyoming, we have a lot of dust. You know, we live by coal mines, oil fields, dirt roads, a lot of places. And we just have a lot of dust. And I don't really care for the dust on my herbs, but I am going to show you a trick that I do with my herbs. So even though they're hanging, because there are a lot of different kinds, they're never going to get dusty. So I'm just going to continue. I'm going to tie these all up, and I will be right back. This is what I do when I'm hanging just little bundles, because it's dusty here, and I do not like when you dry your herbs and when you go to use them, there's dust on them. So I make little holes in the sides of the bag, send the strings through, and then tie them on the outside. See how they're tied? And that way I can still close up the bag, they can dry, and I don't get any dust. You don't have to worry about flies landing on them, gnats, anything that might come into your house. You don't have to worry. And I really like that option. So I will just close this one up. And if you're hanging them in your house, you know, you're not putting them in the bags, they're just going to hang. Just make sure that there is no direct sunlight on them. And you want to hang them so the top of the plant is hanging down, so all those essential oils stay in the plant. The basil in the hydroponics needs trimming too. It grows so fast in this hydroponics. It makes just the most wonderful leaves. They're just massive. So I'm going to trim this because my 2 older bags had tarragon, French tarragon, and basil. So I'm going to take those out and put these new ones in. Isn't that a lovely pile of basil? Oh, and when I was cutting it, the smell was just incredible. Now this is basil that's been drying. And see how it curls up? And you can tell when it's dry, it's just really breakable. Now I don't break up these leaves. I know a lot of people crush them and they just put them in a jar. I like to leave them whole. I will take them off of the stem and put them in a glass jar with a good seal on it. And that's the way I can just use it whenever I'm ready. Same with the tarragon. See how the tarragon is completely dry. And so I'm just going to take it and just pull those leaves off and put them in jars. Then I'll put the fresh basil and French tarragon back into the bags. And I like to label my bags. So like this is a basil one, French tarragon, and the different herbs. If I am harvesting a lot, I am going to label that bag. But like this one that we did today, I just put mixed herbs because it has different kinds of herbs in it. So I'm just putting my herbs in the jars. Now when I go to seal it, I am going to use actually a ball lid, but then I'm going to put a plastic lid on top. But I want that rubber so that it's just a really good seal. So I'm just going to go through all my basil, all my tarragon, and put them in the jars. Now, why don't I break up these leaves? You know, you buy it in the store and it's all crushed up. But the reason I don't is because the more surface area that touches the oxygen, the more oxidation that happens to the leaf. And I want the flavor to stay really intense. And so that's why I leave the leaves whole. One of the favorite things I like to do with fresh tarragon is I like to slice up plums right when they get ripe, right off the tree, slice them up, and then sprinkle it with tarragon and just let it marinate for, I don't know, at least a half hour. And then you eat it. Oh my gosh. The flavors, the 2 different flavors that you probably would never think would go together, fabulous. Well, we're done for the day. I have 4 bags, Lemon Balm, French tarragon, basil, and then our bag of mixed different herbs. And I have a whole half-gallon jar of basil, just the leaves. I tried to break off any stems that I might find, and a quart jar of tarragon. Now, if you miss some of your stems, when you go to crush these, you can just throw those away. But it is a great way to get the freshest herbs possible. It's a great way to be self-sustaining, self-reliant, and self-sufficient. Always my goals. Now I'm going to throw these in the bedroom. I usually have them in the spare bedroom, but I have company tonight. So I'll have them in our bedroom, not in direct sun. Even though in the bags, I still don't want them in direct sun. I don't want them to dry too fast. I want them to just take their time and dry so that I can enjoy all these herbs this winter. I hope you like the video. I hope you like a lot of the videos. I hope you check them out. It's a great venue for me to be able to teach on different aspects of my life. I hope you subscribe, ring the bell, and that way you can get notifications on when I have a new video, if I'm going to do a live, which I'm going to do next Friday night. And I'm just excited about all the different herbs that are possible, that we can grow, we can harvest, and we can dry. And remember that little trick. If area where it's dusty. It allows you to put those herbs that you're hanging inside an enclosed container. But because a paper bag is breathable, the herbs can dry and you don't have to worry about them molding. Because if you live in a humid area, that can be a real problem. Always make sure your herbs are completely dry before you put them in the containers. If you don't, they will mold in the container. And then you've wasted your time and your money and resources. I hope you have a great weekend. We're going to go see my parents tomorrow, 65th wedding anniversary. I'm so excited for them. It's a phenomenal feat and just a blessing. So have a great weekend, and I will see you next time.